meeting for March 20th, 2023. It is 6:03 PM. Could we all please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Susan, would you mind doing roll call, please?
Sure. Jazinski,
Present.
Layton,
Present.
Andres,
Present.
Reardon, Walsh,
Present.
Garland, LaRose, present.
All right. Everyone could take a look at the agenda and review it for any conflict of interest. All right. Make a motion to approve the agenda for Monday, March 20th, 2023.
Approval of the agenda as presented for March 20th, 23, Monday.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, agenda is approved. Any public comment? All right. Approval of the minutes for February 27th, 2023.
Just want to make some corrections on those minutes under staff present. To delete consultant planner, Leslie Couturier, minutes. So staff present was Sarah,
With no H.
with no H. Thank you. And then down on number 8, under reports, number 2.
Could you point your microphone? Thank you very much.
Okay, and then down under reports at number 8, number 2, to read as the community garden survey went out with 13 respondents. There was a positive feedback on design elements. It went out to more than 13, but 13 responded.
That makes sense.
And that's all that I have.
All right, with those changes, I'd like to approve the minutes for February 27th, 2023.
I'll support.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Minutes were approved for February 27th, 2023. All right. I don't think there was any correspondence this last month that I was aware of.
No, the only thing is that a copy of the Arbutus 5 plans did get emailed
Okay.
out to you with the bid document, so that was just from the last meeting we had talked about it. There's a hard set over on the table if you want to take a look at it. I think that's it, other than the article that was in the Cherryland,
Country Lines Magazine.
yes, about Zach. So Beth emailed that out to all the boards, so.
All right. Reports. Sarah, would you
Sure.
please go over the treasurer's report since?
Yeah, so you've got the treasurer's report in your packet. Still not a lot of activity here at the beginning of the year. Just a couple of invoices and board meeting fees. If anybody has any questions, I will do my best to answer them for you.
I don't think there's much that's changed from last month.
And then the subcommittee report on the community garden. Elise is here for the new business, 9A, to talk about the community garden survey and governance. So I'm not sure, Susan, if you have anything outside of whatever Elise is going to tell us.
No, I think she can.
Okay,
So we can cover that in
yeah. and-
9A then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for staff, the only thing that I wanted to mention is that on your desk are the site accessibility evaluations for the parks that the Disability Network of Northern Michigan did for the Parks Commission. And so these are not on the agenda, but I wanted to give them to you so you have a chance to look through them and read them, hopefully before our parks tour. I thought this was a good thing to have in hand for you to take a look at. So I can email these out as well if you'd prefer to have it digitally, but these are the hard copies of all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it'd be nice to take a look at these before and maybe find some of those issues when we go visit the parks.
And there may be some items, you know, this was a very like high level, well, there's some pretty detailed information in it, but you know, if you remember, it was a low-cost item for us to go through and do the reviews, so there may be some items where we need to spend a little bit more time and do a little bit more research, but this should get us started on that, so.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Sarah. Anyone have any questions for Sarah? All right. Moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9A, Community Gardens Survey and Governance. I guess Elise and
Yes, hi Commissioners. It's been a minute since I was
Yeah.
here. It's nice to see all of you again. I know that you saw the full results from the second survey at your last meeting, so I won't belabor the results, but I just wanted to put together that one-page key takeaways list for you so that you could see. I think, you know, the most important takeaway from the second survey was that the design that was proposed is tracking with the 13 people who took the survey, so it's a small sample size, so this isn't the end-all be-all, but folks are generally very supportive of the design, offered comments like, it's a very comprehensive plan, this will make it a welcoming place, you know, really enthusiastic feedback from the community who responded. The only element that did not receive enthusiastic endorsement was the bollard lighting proposed in Phase 2. That was due to confusion around, do we need this, and also, is this attractive? So you might consider whether that's, you know, really needed at the site. And then I think what's probably most helpful for your future discussions around budget and implementation is the community ranked items by build first to build last. And you'll see that those items that are truly supporting a garden, like planters, fencing, you know, soil and other organic material spaces are ranked first. And then elements that are, you know, still very cool, but not directly tied to gardening, like solar infrastructure and lighting, are ranked build last. Any questions about those results, or?
I mean, that's kind of what I would have expected.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think this was a survey of no news is good news, you know, that what's being proposed is being well-received by the community who's following along and is engaged. So, so that was one piece I was here to cover. The other piece is the governance path moving forward, the management plan for the garden, and I am almost done with that, but not quite done. I'm working with the garden planning team to put together that full report. I want to send it to that team, including Susan, and also Chantel Lentz from the library is here tonight to offer her support. So I want to make sure they see that and refine it if there's any changes needed before I bring it back to you next month. So that will be, I think, that will be the complete package. We'll have a design, we'll have a budget, and we'll have a management plan. Take questions from you, we can make changes, but that, I think, ties up sort of the project with those three elements, and then it's a matter of implementing the plan. So I'll come back to you with that. That will include things like a description of the engagement we've done to date, a description of the site, you know, this is the size, these are the soils, a description of the different policies that you'll need in place at the site, how the site will be ran, you know, what are the different functions that need to be thought through, like maintenance, you know, treasury, finance, those kinds of things. So it should be a fairly straightforward, but also information-packed, you know, this is how the garden will actually come to shape.
So it'll be more in a form of like a management plan, like this. And Elise is 80% done, so.
Very
Well,
technical
I
calculation.
think it'll be good, we'll just finish the last phase of this. We've made it this far that, you know, we could probably all do that like you suggested. We'll just do it through emails, then Elise will come back for April, do that presentation. And then the board will go from there, which direction they'd like.
I think we're all pretty anxious to put a shovel in the ground
Yeah.
and get this going, so.
Yeah, and that will include funding sources too, none of this will be a surprise. We've talked through these different pieces, but it's time to pull it all together in one place that's not 30 pages long, but, one concise place. And those funding sources will be listed by date, and some of those begin in April. So I'll want to talk, Sarah, maybe I can talk with you offline about if there are grant sources that we should proceed with before, that are due April 1st, for example. Would I work with you or Beth to help, just to bring
Yeah.
that to your attention,
Yeah.
basically?
I think
Okay.
that would be good.
Okay.
You can talk with me, and then
Okay.
we might bring Beth in, depending on what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know that what those would be for, and there's small grants, but I think there was the Olson Foundation might have been due in April. There were some others that are not, I don't know that we're a shoo-in for that, but, would like to at least entertain the idea before that date passes us by.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, great, then,
And then we do want to mention, a lot about the library being next door and that they've been a great influence, so has the Michigan State University Extension Center, SEEDS has shown up, the schools, but particularly the library and MSU have been at the meetings very consistent. So great use of their tools, talents, and knowledge, so.
yeah, I think the management plan will include enough information too that could be transferred right over to a grant application. Because it will describe what the goal is, what's been done to date, who's been engaged, what have they said, what's the resulting design, how will this be built? It should be, it'll read like a plan and not like a very exciting narrative, probably, so there might be some content tweaks for a grant application, but a lot of the information should be there, which is, I think, good.
And you're the perfect person to do that analysis and to group those thoughts and that all together. So I can't wait to see how it all comes out for the planning of the garden.
Oh, thanks, Susan. Good work by the whole team to date, including Chantel, who's just here to offer her support tonight, being here for that. So we're happy to take any questions if you have them.
And we would, I hope, when we get to that next phase and that we do keep close contact with the library so that they can, along the growth, seeing how we'll be doing it in phases, that they can somehow be a real important tool right along as things keep getting added to the community garden, but right from the get-go. So we need to keep all that in focus, that right from the get-go, how can the library utilize this space, even if we have just boxes there? So we want to always keep that in mind. It's good, it's all good.
No, this isn't necessarily directly related, but I know we had some discussion on Spark grants, how it's prioritized and all that. I know that once we got the first one in, they recycled the application, but are we able to tweak it or switch it out? Or do you get one, or can you add multiple, or?
Yeah, so you can decide if you want to resubmit the same one we did last time, or if you want to submit something different. I think we had looked at maybe the community garden is working, but they haven't come out with the second application and what that looks like and all of that. So we're kind of standing by. I would anticipate here in the near future, we'd know more, and that window will open sometime soon, I would think. But I don't have the inside details on those dates yet, but something to mention about that. So I think as Elise finishes this up and we go into our April 17th meeting to kind of look at the governance and all of that, I talked a little bit with the supervisor, with Beth, about how to move forward, and I think that the next step would be some sort of a meeting with the township board. So we talked about maybe potentially a joint meeting of the Parks Commission and the township board to kind of explain the project, bring them up to speed, get support for the project before we start applying for too many grants, because we'll probably need some resolutions of support and things like that. And this is a big project, so potentially the meeting could be more about, your priorities for the year and what you're moving forward with, but I would imagine the community garden would be a big chunk of that conversation. So looking at, probably based on this timeline, maybe early May, to have a meeting, with with the board, or at least invite them. Maybe it wouldn't be a formal meeting of the board, but, you know, get an offering out there to have them come to your meeting maybe even, and just kind of have an open dialogue about it.
Okay. I mean, we could even probably just present at one of their meetings if that's
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, I know they've got a couple of busy
They're pretty
agendas for March and April. So we could even look potentially maybe at the April meeting of doing, because I kind of said, well, if we had one of our regular meetings and invited them, it might, then I'm only trying to organize one group to have a special meeting instead of two groups to have a special meeting.
Yeah.
But I guess for now, it's, know that that's out there, but I don't know exactly what it looks like or when it's going to work out. So, I guess no news is good news for you, Elise.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for coming, Elise. So, next bullet point is 9B. We need to look at scheduling a parks visit.
Yeah, and we briefly talked about this last month. I know sometimes you do it in May, sometimes you do it in April. Be nice to get it kind of done before too much of the season gets underway for the maintenance team for that. So my understanding, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my first year. I'm almost made it a year with you guys, but it was a separate meeting that you kind of held, that you went around, or was it at your regular meeting?
It was our regular meeting.
It was your regular meeting?
We've done both.
Yeah, last year, I believe, was the regular meeting. I think my first time doing it was a special
Okay.
meeting.
But if we need to make it a special, maybe we should, because I feel like April's already, I mean, we want to
Yeah.
talk about the community garden, so that's going to take up a big chunk of that meeting. And then we're right next to May with,
Yeah. We're going to be starting to review parts of the park
exactly,
and
I
rec
was just gonna say
plan,
that,
so.
too. So we might want to set a special, just for touring the parks. That's my suggestion, just because we're getting kind of crunched in there right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full night ordeal.
It is.
Yeah, we don't have time for a regular meeting and park tours.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
So I would suggest that we make it a special day.
Because in April, we were starting the review for the,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
For the park and rec plan, and we can always, I mean, there's a little flexibility in that, you know, I hate to miss my first time around, you know, to start reviewing it, you know, but if we can't get a night that works out, then we'll just start reviewing it in May,
Can
and,
we sort of look at everyone's calendar?
Yeah.
And sort of plan what might work with everyone?
Well, did we want to do April or May?
I'd say end of April, early May would be the better weather.
Yeah, you know that's not true.
It's better than the next week, I know.
yeah.
This week's supposed to be pretty rainy, so. I
How
won't-
long,
So before the
Next.
May meeting then? Is that what we're thinking?
No, special meeting.
I know, the
Yeah, but-
special
Well, yeah.
meeting before our May regular.
Right.
Yes, mhm.
what about Monday, May 1st?
I'm open.
On May Day, that's pretty fitting.
That's perfect.
Let's build a maypole as well.
Aw,
I mean, that works for me.
when did you start last
How about
time?
for you?
If that'll work for me,
May 1st?
yeah,
Last time, I mean, we've started at 6:30, we've started at
We should
4:30,
start,
we've.
if we
sta-
can, at
We started,
5.
yeah.
Last year, we actually had a special meeting last year, I think. I have it on my calendar, Parks Tour, 5:30 to 7:30.
Yeah, and we always went over. I mean, it's dark out and
Yeah.
our lights are on.
Yeah, so we did it May 23rd.
last year.
Oh, so it'll
Yeah,
be
that
more
was late.
dark.
Yeah.
So I typically ride my motorcycle for these, so the weather's usually pretty nice.
So is 5 o'clock too early for everyone?
5 o'clock on a Monday is too early for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
We could do 5:30. I thought we've always started at 5:30.
5:30's better.
I mean,
Yeah.
I need my,
How about you, Ryan? How's that one?
I think it'll work out fine. I could do whatever
Okay,
time on that day.
5:30?
I'm not available that day, but
Oh, May 1st?
if I'm the only one, don't worry about it. May 1st, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not?
Well, we already have two that I'm not sure what their schedule is, so I'm hesitant to let
Oh,
you get
yeah.
out of it without being able to ask them.
Why don't we maybe set 2 or 3 dates and then, when the others get included on the conversation, see which.
Is
which
it
ones
just
fall
that
in.
Monday, or could you do the 8th?
Well, if we do it the 22nd, it'd be,
Right after?
well, it'd be, I mean,
Yeah,
that's what we did
right.
last year,
That's good.
I think.
I think earlier the better, just because between going through these site.
When's our Monday meeting?
15th of May.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we have to do it the following week? Like the 8th?
We can do it whenever we want.
You can do it, yeah, I mean, don't move it just because of me, I mean,
Are you
odds are somebody's not gonna be here anyway,
Are
so.
you available the 8th, Monday the 8th?
Well, it'd be nice to,
Had
Can-
2 dates.
Can we do
Oh,
it?
yeah,
so
Maybe.
the one commissioner who hasn't done this yet, I believe, is just Garrison.
Garrison.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're going to be flexible on a date, let's make sure, whatever date it is one that he can actually go to
Perfect.
as well.
Can we set out a little poll,
So he
an email
Gets
poll?
that experience.
Maybe we can just set an email poll for
Yeah.
3 dates in May, maybe?
Yeah, that'll work. If we're going to do it in May, that still gives us April to formalize that date. So I'll send out an email with
oh, true.
a couple dates, because I was thinking it was in April. It'd be nice to do it near the beginning. I can do a little bit of the inventory work for the park plan, like with your input on it. But that's not 100% necessary either, so.
I mean, you could do April 24th, it'd just be the following Monday after the April meeting.
I
but-
could do that, too.
Okay. I'll put some times out there and see if the other two, because I don't know when Sabrina gets back either, so it'd be nice to have
Usually she's here
her.
for that.
Usually
That
she's
part.
here.
Usually she's
May.
here, but
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. Well, I've got a couple of dates then already that we can have agreement on, so we'll see what happens from there and get that scheduled. And you just like meet at the first park, right? And then just
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
along, so we don't necessarily need the hall or anything here, so.
I know we've done it a couple different ways, like the last one I think we did, we were opening up a meeting and closing the meeting at each part. Is that the order we
Yeah.
follow
Yeah,
again too?
so-
Okay.
Yep, yeah. Is there anything that you need for that meeting, or you just kind of show up and walk around and?
I
Make
think
efforts.
just, knowing, just somebody following the or opening and closing of each of those
Yeah.
meetings, times and all that.
Okay,
Sometimes we had a sheet that would go around prior to.
Oh, we had to
the
sign it.
parks.
We had these at every park,
Well, not that.
or one that was like,
oh, so that you could sign in at each one?
I think too, what we had also was the notes from the meeting the year before, so
Was
like
just
notes
thinking
on
of
the
that.
changes that, the
Yeah.
upgrades and stuff that we wanted to see
Right.
accomplished.
Right,
And typically, we should visit the parks and make our notes prior to, so
Mm-hmm.
it moves it quite along faster. But usually, we had sheets of, what we saw, I mean, some,
Yeah.
like questions,
okay,
well, I think we used our 2020 template,
did we? Yeah.
because in 2020, we all went individually, and then I think we used that template to make notes in advance.
I feel like a lot of our notes though are like the flags or flag poles, the little maintenance deals. I mean, right here, this covered a lot of what we talked, we were pointing out, but there was no structure behind it. So I don't know if there's a focus on maybe particular things, like if we want to focus on the ADA.
Well, we make a master list for the maintenance to pick away at over the summer.
Okay. I don't know how much they already knew about that stuff, or if that was helpful for them to know.
I think it was. helpful.
Okay,
It probably helps them to
sure.
prioritize,
Yeah.
certain things.
So we could have a maintenance column, ADA, just to maybe speed things up, to have a little template of key things we need to look for.
okay,
You might be able to bring up what we had the previous year.
yeah, okay, that sounds good. We have a plan.
Sweet. Um, All right, anything else on that, or,
No,
no?
I like the park visits. Here's a question. Are we gonna do the major parks, or do we wanna do all of the sites?
You guys want to make that list right now?
Because
You mean-
there's,
Oh.
I think you and I are the only ones here that have seen them all.
I've seen, I think, everything.
The ones like
Just,
on, the
oh.
two, the three on, there's three on Spider.
Oh, the property.
Yeah.
You might want to save that for
Oh,
another.
those things?
Three,
The
oh, after we make
easements.
the,
The easements? That's not technically a park, though,
And
is it?
Actually, I think we did
It's
those
public
as a
access.
separate special
we did.
meeting, which we could probably go and see those all over again if need be. Just their easements there.
It wouldn't be too bad to see them just because we're working on the park and rec plan too. So maybe do some of the, like the major parks, or maybe we start with, some of the bigger parks. If we run out of daylight, we have another meeting to hit up some of the other parks in those easements or something.
That's a lot to add those, because we're not even going to two of the parks that we have listed as
Yeah,
parks.
that's true.
Actually.
That's true.
So,
Because Pines and Kelly,
yep, well, Pines and.
Holiday Woodlands, right?
Yeah, Holiday
We're-
Woodlands is new.
That's not even enough, that's even another one, yeah.
Right.
I mean, we don't need to go to Arbutus necessarily either, because,
That's.
that's a good point.
so, I mean, that's one that we can cross off.
Did we accept a bid?
Yes.
Yes,
We did.
yep.
The Spence Brothers, yes.
Do we have a timeline?
Not yet.
Because I need to tell my people,
So
it's gonna be closed.
when we make this, the park list, we should keep in mind our priorities. I know the accessibility was one, so that, one, our most utilized parks would be a good area to focus on. So, Grace McDonald is a pretty heavily used one. The one in the neighborhood would probably be a good one to look at.
Pine Grove.
Pine Grove, yeah.
Yeah.
John's,
Yeah.
You wanna go to the water tower?
Killings.
I would love to go to the water tower.
I mean, that's one property we could,
That's on the
Instead
list.
of going to
Yeah.
5, go to the water tower.
yeah.
Because 5 is like
Yeah.
gonna get worked on, and the water towers are next.
Holiday Woodlands on the road there too.
Yeah.
I've been to once, I think you should.
Yeah, we
go
went,
too,
we went
Just
last
the two
year.
of us
Yeah,
went.
Yeah.
We probably
yeah,
should,
Zach was there.
we probably should stop by Holiday Woodlands.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little hike up. I mean, at the very least, we could evaluate and just take a look at the top there. but
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool area. I love that area. So I'd be all for it.
Are they allowing bikes, mountain bikes and that in through there,
I
or?
haven't seen anybody biking
I
it.
don't know.
Well, the gate is still closed,
Right.
so.
Killingsworth.
Yeah, I got Pine Grove, Grace, Johns, Killingsworth, Holiday Woodlands, Water Tower.
But now can you put it in the proper driving order?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we started at no.
Typically we do.
Well,
But
Pine Grove to Johns to
Then,
Holiday Woodlands
Yeah.
to Water Tower to
Grace,
Killingsworth or Grace.
and at Grace.
Yeah. So one,
Yeah, yeah.
And then if we could, I mean, are we gonna try to get like a maintenance list together? Are we gonna, some kind of list? Because maybe within that body of that sheet of paper that we list our priorities, what we had chosen for the year, so we have it front and center. Like I know one was the, make everything compliant.
Mhm.
That'd be great. So, now I'm getting excited, I hope we go in April.
Well, except
Right.
April tends to be
I like
pretty
questionable.
wet.
Yeah,
Bring your mukluks.
well, if it's at the end of the month, might be good.
Yeah.
it's hard to know.
Yeah, last year was.
It's Michigan.
really
Mm-hmm.
good.
Today was beautiful.
Happy spring.
Tomorrow is not. I don't think.
40 and rain, I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
No, it's cold rain.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think I have enough for that, and then I can put some of that on the April 17th agenda too, so.
All right. So we got 6 parks. Yeah. I don't think there was anything else.
Did you say you could send this to us too in an email?
Yes.
Can I'm just excited to see this. My boss would love to see this too.
Yeah.
What was the fee
We're
for all
looking to do
this? Was it like 10, 15 grand or something?
No, it was like $2,000.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
It was, I believe it was less than 2,000.
I thought it was like 14 or 17.
I was gonna say 17.5 maybe, but, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I was thinking of then. I thought something was gonna be really expensive.
I'll email them out to you though.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, some of them are kind of large, but it should be fine. You all have township email, so
Email it to me.
I don't have to.
I won't open it.
Okay.
I like the paper copies.
Yeah, I love paper.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, there's no public here for public comment. The upcoming meeting date is April 17th, 2023. And then,
Oh, no.
Tax day.
I think my husband's out of town. I am 95% sure that I will not be here on that day.
On the 17th?
Yep.
are we,
But you were saying there's a 5% chance.
Yeah.
I will be.
all right. Well, I'd like to adjourn the meeting for Monday, March 20th, 2023. Looks to be about 6:35 PM.
Is this the fastest meeting ever?